Welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised. Welcome back, everybody, to Petersburg By Night, a massive online multiplayer TTRPG set in St. Petersburg, Florida, and the surrounds. We play Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf, the Apocalypse, and Hunter the Reckoning, which is what these pack of crazies are wanting to do at times. Tonight, we are revisiting and catching up with everybody after a couple of weeks of relaxation, maybe, seeing where they're at. Last session, they made the attempt to do some recon at the location for Mr. Frankie DeLuca, the Roach. Get a bit of an idea, as Dr. Kruger has asked you to retrieve an item from him. He is a well-known individual who has been quite hard to pin down. Ella and William, got in through the front, posing as a couple, setting up I believe it was a wedding reception business, either way, a catering business, where they were able to plant a listening device that also gave them access to the cameras on the interior of the premises. They didn't really get a lot. They did and were able to see evidence of some pretty serious abuse at the hands of Bobby. Rather aggressive individual. But no view on Frankie himself. The evening shift rolled around, where Nicholas, Emery, and Victor were going to come in through the back end and have a look, but because of a slight mix-up in communications, ended up with one of them, Nick, heading to the front of the building and facilitating a drug sale. Trying to pick up on a bit of gear, it's a good way to get in. He was able to get inside the premises, meet a few people. but also got himself assaulted for the apparent emasculation of one Mr. Bobby. Guy seems to have a lot of issues. After sort of leaving, going and seeking some medical attention, after William and Ella came and met them on site, Victor realised he'd been made after sitting on Emery's shoulders to look in through a window. So they left with a large bag of drugs, assorted, no less. A few wounds, and maybe a fresh scar or two to tell the tale. So tonight, we're going to catch up with everybody as they start to actually plan a little bit better and see where they go from here. First person we're going to meet in with this evening is Nicholas. Now, after leaving the hospital that night with William in his lovely still pajamas after rushing to help, you headed back to your premises that evening? Or did you stay at the safe house?
I think he probably stayed at the safe house and crashed on the couch.
Understandable. That's kind of a big thing to go through. Not wanting to sort of be alone when no one can find you. So you've spent the next couple of weeks just sort of healing up, maybe going to a follow-up appointment, and just researching. Now, do you want to just specify exactly what it is you're researching into, please, for me?
Let me pull it up, because I actually forgot. Vampires and how to stop them.
So, over the next couple of weeks, obviously, amid moments of, it's a little bit confronting to have someone belt you that quickly, and coming across, as much as you've come across a lot of violent, or the leftovers of violence over the years, you haven't always been a part of the actual action. So this is very confronting for Nick. So in between moments of 1,000-yard stare possibly across the safe house out the back there, you are able to delve into the library that you have amassed there, accessing a few of the books from maybe the museum as well. Robert probably would have pointed you in the right direction for a couple of things. With 7 successes on a crit for your research over this period of time, you start to delve into literature more so than you probably ever have focused on, because you are chasing a way to stop this from happening to you again. You got out lucky, and that wasn't even an actual, what you can assume, an actual leech. That was just lackeys. So you start delving in and researching. In the course of your research, Robert brings in a book that he's possibly poached from an Arcanum library somewhere. Could make sense knowing your knowledge of him. That gives you a little bit more insight than even your books did. And it starts, as you read through it, it starts to talk about different quote-unquote families. They give themselves different names, and they have different abilities. The older they are, the more powerful they are, the harder they are to kill. The younger ones are the ones that often might daywalk, which is curious for you. That's what you're interested in. So the younger ones are the ones that probably would be possibly some of the easier ones to kill. You know as well, based on the research that William did, you can extrapolate from that with all of the cellular data and everything that he was able to extract from the finger bones and the ash and everything, that this area holds individuals of all different ages. It's an absolute wonder that you guys were able to take out Harris. from that, you're also able to know that, all right, we killed him through pure damage. But if it hadn't have been for the fire that William lit on him, there was a chance he could have woken up in the right circumstances. So that fire literally was what finished the job. You do come across the only guaranteed ways to kill them is cut their heads off completely, stake in sunshine, fire, or destroy the body beyond all recognition. You do learn that some of them have different weaknesses to different things, however. And with that crit, and with the amount of time you have to study this, I will permit you the knowledge that some of them can be thwarted by garlic, running water. You can slow them down. Some of them do have to be invited. So, I'm assuming if there was ever going to be a welcome mat on the safe house, that's gone now. The garlic that Victor once bought and you once spread around, you're like, hey, this might be a thing. It doesn't work on all of them. But as far as definitive death, they are your ways.
Just to make sure I don't overstep, would it mention about like counting rice and stuff like that?
You would find information that there have been situations where they seem to briefly stop, or it's almost like a compulsion can take over them in different situations depending on their quote-unquote family.
Okay. So maybe. Just like with all the rest of it.
You know that it's a possible, and that's enough. That's more than you had.
With all of this new information, Nick is going to go on Instacart or something like that, like a delivery service, and order a bag of garlic and a bag of rice.
That is well and truly not a problem, and I can imagine the confused look on the delivery individual's face as they deliver it to a museum office. Just hey, I've garlic and rice? What kind of research are you guys doing here?
I'm hungry.
Okay, buddy. Sure. Hands it over. Leaves. That, joyful, sort of awkward conversation of someone it's like the equivalent of going through the checkout with just a cucumber and staring at the shop assistant sort of thing. Just what the hell are you doing? So is there anything else that Nick is going to do over these couple of weeks with that knowledge as he slowly...
I mean, Nick is writing it all down because essentially Robert let him borrow the book, so he's writing it down in his own journal to keep on the bookcase. And that's really all he's got.
At some point during the couple of weeks, Robert would probably come and stop and just sort of sit down with Nicholas and just sort of take note. He hasn't said anything about the injuries, but he just sort of sits down at the table at some point, pushes a cup of tea across to you, just looks at you and it's like, I'm not quite sure if it's my place to ask, but everyone okay?
Yeah, I just got punched in the face by a goon.
I didn't pick you to be an individual to get involved in field work. Didn't think it was your forte.
Well, it's not. That's why I got punched in the face by a goon.
Fair enough. Is there any way that I can assist at all? I know that not many have a lot of good opinions of me over the years.
I'm okay. I ended up going to the hospital, so I think they've got me mostly fixed up. Um, if I need any, I think the biggest thing that you could help us with as a whole is what you've already done. Thank you for letting me borrow the book.
Always more than welcome. I have no problems whatsoever helping out with research, as you're well aware. It's one of the few things I have left these days.
Understood. If I ever come across something I can't figure out myself, I'll definitely come let you know, Robert.
It would be appreciated. Could you do me a favor, perhaps?
Depends on what that favor is.
I have to travel. I'll be away for several weeks. I don't tend to tell William when I do this trip. It's off. He tends to react rather poorly. If you could just let them know that I'm away. But I'm off to Milan. I have a meeting that I have to attend.
Okay. I take it you don't want me to tell him where you're going?
It would be preferable that he does not know. I'm not particularly a fan of how much it impacts on his mental state. Not a lot of good memories are held there for him.
Understood.
Perhaps in time, but for now, he appears quite busy with his research and I don't want to disrupt that.
I appreciate you, Robert. He is a bit of a, for lack of a better term, an emotional time bomb, I've noticed.
Yes, he is somewhat unstable, but like many unstable things, can be quite useful and efficient in their task as long as the explosion is pointed in the correct direction, if that makes sense.
I noticed.
Well, look, I'm not leaving for a short period. I've got about a week before I leave, but just knowing that at least one of you is keeping an eye out for the academia of this group that is not. I trust you with the books a lot more than I trust William to not sell the good ones and accidentally keep the wrong ones, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do.
Very well. Apologies, I did not mean to intrude. I'll leave you be. But good luck, and I think there's still some ice in one of the refrigerators should you need it at all anymore. I'll admit I've not been punched for quite some time. It's not in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's not really in mine either. That was the first time in a long time someone's got a good one on me.
Well, try not to let it happen again. I've grown quite fond of you and your ideal look around at all the books. You and your library here. I shan't like to lose it in a hurry.
Of course. Well, Nicholas is going to take a sip of the tea.
It's
And
a chamomile blend. Chamomile mint blend.
sleepy tea.
Calming.
He's going to take a sip of it, go back to writing and transcribing the notes that he's taking.
Robert will head on out and leave you to your work after that. You know, the good old British head nod and goodbye as he ponders on out. You don't see a lot more of him. Give me a wits and awareness though, please. For as you do, the times you do leave the safe house and you walk through on that.
One success.
You notice his curtains pulled down on his window of his office a lot more than it usually is. That's really about it. So over that course of that time, with all of the research, you're able to finalise and definitively have more of an understanding of what you're coming up against. The one additional thing I will give you is everything that you read speaks of how important it is to guard your mind and the strength of blood. And not to let them get any of your blood. So that is something I will leave you with. Towards sort of the end of the couple of weeks, and fast forward a little bit, Victor and Emery, you guys have organised to catch up. Perhaps plan a little bit better. Get the two military-minded individuals to improve and increase communications. So you guys would meet perhaps after work times. In the safe house, Nick is head down buried in a book, probably not even really paying attention to you at all. Except for a cursory glance and a nod. He's been a little bit in his own thoughts. But I will leave you to have a good discussion about how best to ensure this doesn't happen again.
All right. So with the kind of blueprinted map outlaid in front of us, probably on the pool table of somewhere, similar to that, just kind of having it there.
I'm going to
we're
put
gonna-
the photo of Took also
Yep.
on the wall.
We need to figure out where everyone's going to be best at, where everyone needs to be positioned, who's going to be better at going in first versus who's going to take the back end in the event. Now, we know that you have a better awareness around than I do, so I think you should take point, and I think you probably should take point with Nick.
Yeah, okay.
I think the two of you going in first into whichever position that we go into, which we'll have to figure out which doorways we want to try and access first. Because Nick can attempt to distract if needed. You can be aware of the surroundings more likely than the most of us and have a better shot at taking things.
Yeah,
Whereas...
I will need you, especially because we don't know Nick and the others well on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Being on the field and having to protect them is going to be fucking hard, especially with I don't know how many tangos there are in that, but could be 10, could be 50. And
I would like Emery and Victor to please give me... In fact, no, I'm going to directly get Emery to give me an intelligence academics, including your degree specialty, please. And Victor, I would like an intelligence investigation roll from you, please.
Can I spend willpower?
Yes, you can. As long as you keep track of it.
Yep. Oh, okay, hold on.
2 successes on my side.
2.
Oh.
6 for Emery.
With a crit.
No, that's only 110. Oh, I'm sorry. No, correct. A crit.
Let's go.
What did you get, Victor?
2.
With everything that you guys know, with the schematics you're able to get, this is what I'm going to give you because of that roll that you got, Emery. Victor, well, you are more aware in the field. In a lot of ways, you notice the smaller things. Emery, looking at this blueprint, all of your studies kicking into gear. Very much so. You can see, knowing the location of the shipping container, you know that door that you found, that's why it wasn't opening. That's why it wasn't locked. They don't care. The rear door that you saw him walk out of, at the back that had the light above it, that would be easy to barricade because it is an exterior opening door. So that is something that you can use to your advantage should you wish to.
Could be a thing.
That is something that you can use to your advantage should you wish to. This place is going to be notoriously hard to actually get into in any way. Because of, or to infiltrate discreetly, because of the amount of entries and exits to the building, which is probably why he took it. That's why that building is what it is. But I will give you as well, with all of that, the neighboring warehouse is essentially like a mirrored floor plan. So mirror it to the side. The one that's the neighboring warehouse on that map is a mirrored floor plan. Without the storage shelves, etc., it's actually a mechanic's workshop. So you have access in there to things like fuel, oil, compressed gases, all that sort of stuff. Heavy amounts of power tools. An explosion is, if something were to set fire to that place, nothing would survive. So bear that in mind. The main road will have street cams down at the corner. Nothing else around. But any exterior door that opens outward is barricadable, if that makes sense. A drill or an impact driver, a big bit of wood and a couple of long screws, 2-3 people, bang, bang, it's shut. It's pretty easily done to contain individuals should it be needed. Other than that, that's that additional information and additional bit of help that you get on that. So just remember, if there's a fire, nothing's going to survive that if it gets to the neighbouring warehouse.
Do we know everything that William actually get from his researches or not? Especially because we are doing that like later than he discovered that.
Do you mean Nicholas's research on how to kill them?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
This would probably be occurring at about the same time. So this is, you two can now discuss
Okay.
and think about it from here. I just wanted to see if you got any additional information or picked up on any additional stuff.
So, what I'm thinking is those things, I mean, most of the things are really scared of light. And if we do an operation, I would advise to do it like in the middle of the day to our advantage and actually open the maximum amount of windows and doors just to get light inside, because we don't know what they're capable of. The last one actually punched a wall. So I'm not concerned. If I have to defend Nick, I will be fucking alright. But we have to keep in mind they're not trained as us on the field. They are good shots, but you know. Maybe what about on the car park side, we have a door, a roller door. If we can open this we can have a good view of the inside of the building. What do you think?
I have concerns in this only because it is the daytime, so they're going to be working as a shop at the time. So they're going to be there ambling about. I don't know how plausible it is for us to be able to just open up all the doors and windows, if that makes sense.
Are we going to be discreet as well here? Especially because we have someone compromised and we have someone who has been really injured. They are going to recognize at least Nick. I don't think wasting time is a good. It's my personal thing. You have the final say on that. But in my opinion, the more time and the more the more time they have to prepare, the harder it's going to be to get to actually enter the building.
Right. It might behoove us to use the couple game again and have them distracting the employees while a couple others go and try and find that binder, and then maybe 2 others go and check the neighboring place, and
Okay.
maybe plan B, if we need to, we can smoke them out,
Yeah.
hopefully killing them.
But
our main objective is that binder.
Yeah, but especially because if we have a contact in here, I'm not going to risk anyone's life, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because even they are asleep at day, they can wake up somehow. I don't know.
Beats me. I don't know. But okay, so is that what we want to do? Is have Ella and Will join as the couple, and then Nick, you and I, or Nick and you go in and try and get that binder, and then I'll be plan B?
I think the 3 of us is going to be maybe more successful than just Nick and me. Especially because if we are on contact, or like on close combat, I'm not going to be as efficient as you.
So do you want to switch it up then? I don't know about that, because you're going to be more vigilant in your sight.
You don't want like having the team distraction, Ella and William, and having the team infiltration, me, you, and Nick.
I worry that if we need someone to cause a backup in the event that we do get caught, we won't have that option.
I can stay in the car.
I would rather you go into the neighboring building if you're gonna stay in a car.
I know.
So,
Out of character, real quick. Were y'all talking to Nick while he's sitting there?
maybe, but whether or not they'd actually be listening to anything Nick has to say right now, if that makes sense. They're sort of very, very head stuck into military speak at the moment, so to speak.
Okay, I was just making sure out of character. I didn't hear you guys.
I think you can hear some bribes of what we say, but at the same time, we are very focused.
100%.
Going back to it, like, we'll have the distraction team. If they hear anything, which most likely they will, they can cut the whole distraction and help us if needed.
Yeah.
So you'll have 4 people there, and then we just have 1 person out in the event that they need to start a fire.
Do we want you out? You sure about that?
That's what I'm unsure of, because and I'll admit to this, you're a better shot and you're better at seeing things around you.
Yeah.
If I go in there, it's going to be, I'm going to get attacked and then I will react. And we got to find that binder.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting into things and trying to find additional information, while Victor and Emery, and we will continue this off camera a bit more, while Victor and Emery spend many, many hours poring over the map, planning, thinking about the strengths and the weaknesses of their teammates. Ella, this has never been your deal. You're like, she's doing that. Drop her off. I'm not hanging around to listen to all this grunt talk. It's not your deal.
Yeah.
One morning, I dare say, Emery possibly would have taken off with the car again. And after answering the good morning message you get from Lana, still always checking in with you, says hi, she's doing well, she might be home, coming back in the next week or two. She's feeling pretty good. Things are going well.
Okay.
She's been doing online therapy to sort of process the trauma. She's doing it all right. It's not the first time she's been through shit on the job. You know, it's kind of goes with the territory. So after having a sort of bit of a brief convo with her, you pick up the phone, and who are you calling?
I am calling Uncle Brian.
What time of day is this?
It's probably, at this point, mid-morning, early afternoon. Had a few cups of coffee.
But of course, what is Ella without her coffee? So, you ring Brian's number, and it's like, first time it rings, it goes through to voicemail. This is Brian. You know what to do.
She'll leave a short voicemail. Hey, Uncle Brian, it's Ella. I need to ask you a few questions. Got a job we're working. Might actually pique your interest. Kind of similar to what I asked you before. Give me a call back. She'll hang up, and then she'll immediately dial him again.
The second call, it rings a couple times, and then he answers. Like, fuck's sake, kid. I was just trying to listen to your message. What the hell's going on? Everything okay?
Yeah. I figured you were gonna pick up eventually if I kept calling.
Yeah, well, you got that right. What's going on? I heard something about a job before you rang me back.
Yeah, we're working a job for this chick who wants us to do research. It's a mess, and she'll go into the explanation of CC and what research she wants us to do, and the whole bit that happened, and how she's not very happy about it at all.
What's got your knickers in a twist? It's not like it's your ex. What's the problem? Especially she's holding a live one. Bastards aren't an issue, are they?
William wants to
your
have.
Ex, is it?
It's not my ex, but William wants to. He's got this whole notion that he wants to have a live specimen in the lab, and
Did he get fucking bitten or bashed in the head or something? What the fuck?
no, he's an odd duck.
Jesus fucking Christ, what are you speaking quack now, are you? Hanging out with him? If he's an odd one.
I mean, there's literally no other way to put it. You'd have to meet him.
Yeah, I think I'll be right for a while, I think. I don't know if me and him are going to get along well if he's trying to keep a live one in a museum.
Yeah,
fuck?
I am trying so hard to convince him that is such a bad idea, and he's just not getting it.
Well, you remember what worked with you girls, right?
She's just gonna go quiet.
Look, I know smacking you with the books you were supposed to read didn't really work the best. Maybe it'll work with him.
He's too into books. I think that will just pique his interest more.
How... In fact, no, don't answer that fucking question. So, what is it you need from me? You said it might pique my interest.
What do you know about vamps that can walk in daylight and do weird shit with their blood?
The fuckers need to die just like the other ones that walk at night time? Do weird shit with their blood?
That's not helpful. Do you know anything about...
I know anything about them. Fuck. Look, tell me a bit about the situation.
She's just gonna launch into the whole story and just...
So even down to like what happened at the warehouse, are you telling him?
Yep.
You're telling him about Nick? Telling him about everything?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna sit there in relative silence and listen, just with like the oh fuck, oh shit, what? Sort of like conversational noises. And then at the end of you sort of rattling this out, he's gonna look at her, he's gonna turn around on the phone and just be like, oh. Remind me to remind you to write a book one day, because you fuckers are funny. But just checking in with you, right, that you and your little book buddy went in on camera?
She's gonna stop and think about it. You know, I didn't think about that.
He dropped a device, yeah? Did you pick it up afterwards?
Nope, I think it's still there.
Right. Another one of your crew got inside but got punched in the face? Lot of blood?
Yeah, he got hit good.
Lot of blood?
Uh-huh. That's not good.
But got out with drugs, yeah?
Yeah, they got out with drugs.
You mentioned something about some special ones? You had your nerd boy check that shit out yet?
I'm bringing it to him today.
Awesome. Keep me posted on what happens with those. But in the meantime, biggest suggestion, you still have... Have you got any stakes or chunks of wood around the place or anything like that?
Yeah, we made some stakes. We made some crossbows.
Cool, keep it on you, yeah?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how fucked are we?
Depends on how smart that fucker is.
Shit. I mean, he's got that whole operation there.
Yeah, but from what you're telling me, he's got people doing shit for him. He's just got it running away. So, one of your best things, it seems like, is can you get him to run? I mean, look, fucking 500 grand's worth of upgrades. The things you can do with that is just nuts. But there comes a point as well, I want you guys to really think about this. If it comes down to it, Ella, are you going to grab the book or are you going to grab your friend and get him out? You guys all need to get your priorities straight before you take on a mission like this. If you take on this kind of job, you guys better have your priorities straight. Because you sound like you're kicking around like a couple of kids in the kitchen, wearing aprons too big for yourselves.
Yeah, no, fair.
suppose, what do you want from me? Like, kill it with fire. If sunlight ain't gonna kill it with fire. Don't let it fucking get blood on you or get your blood. Shoot it from a distance. Take the bastard out. If it's got lackeys, watch out for them, because you don't know how they're gonna be acting. I don't know what else to tell you, love. Like...
You've never heard of anything that can do what William found out then?
Well, heal itself. All of the
No.
fuckers can do that. That's why David was such a fucking hard match for us. I'd fucking deal with a bitch and then she'd fucking come back.
He's gonna kind of just recoil at the name.
You're gonna have to get used to hearing it. Names only have the power you give them, Ella.
Yeah, doesn't mean I like it.
Doesn't mean whether you like it or not's my fucking problem. Kid, you gotta grow up if you're gonna do this shit. Come on.
You haven't heard anything about her, have you?
Not recently. No. But yes, I still keep my eyes out because I don't like missing a mark, and you know that.
I know.
But look, do me a favour. Go and get those drugs or whatever the fuck they are analysed. You said about those special ones. I need to know if there's anything weird come up about them, yeah? I'm not a fan of missing marks, but look, go get those drugs tested. Let me know if anything pops up out of the ordinary, yeah?
I will.
I'll do a bit more research on this end and get back to you, yeah?
Okay, sounds good.
Alright. Do me a favour.
Yeah?
Just, do you want to let your sister know to just, like, check on the shit that's going on, financials in the background, make sure everything's clear?
What, the family financials?
Yeah, just have a look. Alright?
Why, is everything okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Talk to you later, kid. And he just hangs up.
She's gonna be like, motherfucker. She puts her phone away. Goes to grab the fucking stash of special drugs. Goes to the damn cell.
Right.
Safe house.
So, we did say that Emery would have taken the car that day. So, that would be an Uber call. And I would like a composure resolve for you to keep your cool while sitting in the back of an Uber carrying $300 plus worth of drugs.
I love my sister. I love my sister. Composure and resolve?
Yep.
Okay. Four.
Look, the Uber driver you get, her name's Danica. She just sort of chill. She's had some weird people in her cars before. She's taken some odd rides. She sort of gives you a look or two in the mirror, but doesn't think much of how cautious you are with your bag. For her, it's just, yeah, whatever. Don't want to leave anything behind. And you turn up to the museum. As you walk in, Nick's sitting on one of the couches, probably head down in another book. Emery and Victor are at the table, poring over maps that are on the table and up on the walls. William! I'm assuming, considering the time of day, it'd probably be in the afternoon. About 4:30. As Ella ponders on in. Scene is yours.
Ella! Do you have the goods?
Yes, don't be creepy about this.
It's not creepy. It's not like it's a body. They're drugs.
Yeah, don't say that too loud. Still in a museum with a lot of illegal substances. She hands them over.
Ella, you would not believe the amount of scientists are in museums with illegal substances.
Uh-huh. If you don't mind, I think I'm gonna watch you do this.
I do mind, actually.
She's gonna just lean on the wall and cross her arms.
You might contaminate the laboratory. Now go! Shoot! Shoot! Shoot!
She looks unimpressed.
Are you going to allow yourself to be shooed? So Ella's going to stand at the doorway and watch while William opens the bag.
Well, if you're going to be here, he's going to throw her like one of the like surgical gown caps and some like rubber gloves, and then he's going to point her to the decontamination shower.
I'm fine, I guess. She'll go do what he says.
And then he opens the bag of drugs.
So as you open it up, you notice that there is a bag of what appears to be mushrooms. Pretty sure you know what they are. A couple of different bags of powder, unidentified at this point. A couple of different bags of pills. Bag of pot. Do you dump everything out onto the bench? How do you get into it?
He takes out each individual bag, and he's probably set out like a container that with like different like sections for like different things, and he's taking out and he's labeling what each item could be. The bags of powder, he currently has them separated into two different things and has two blank labels for them for once we get through the tests. He's assuming, because like it's a white powder, right? Assuming probably cocaine, but not certain, because there's a lot of different white powders that it could be. The pills he has set to one side because those are something that those could be complicated. Those were he was told that they added in some designer stuff, and he's assuming that's probably what it is. Considering everything else seems pretty stock standard, except for maybe the powders. Because
Ella, are you standing next to William as he's doing this, watching what's happening?
Assuming it's like a table bench or whatever, she's like on the other side of it, not like hovering over it, but just kind of on the other side of the table watching him doing it.
William, give me a wits and awareness, please. As you pull the last package out of the bottom of the bag. You can do the same if you'd like to, Ella. It's up to you.
Sure.
I'm gonna re-roll.
Okay.
That is successes on a crit.
I would also like to reroll.
I have more successes than I have dice.
That's just 2.
What did you get, Ella?
Just 2.
You pull the last package out of the bottom of this bag, William. And you look down into the bag. So you're going to pick it up, put it aside, and look down. You noticed, taped to the bottom of the inside of the bag, is an air tag. One of the simplest, easiest to use pieces of technology in today's era. An air tag placed at the bottom of this bag. None of you specified in any way that you looked in the bag, that you investigated the bag. This bag has been to Emery and Ella's Airbnb. It has been to the museum over the last 2 to 3 weeks.
William is going to take out the air tag from the bag, and then he's going to look at Ella, and he's going to look back at the air tag, look back at Ella, put it down on the table. Do you know what this is?
I'm gonna guess Ella recognizes what it is.
Out of my lab. Now. I'm going to work to fix this, but I need to be alone. Do you understand?
She's just gonna glare at him and walk out.
Hold that thought, William. As you walk out, Ella, Victor and Emery are sitting at the table. Nicholas is there. You guys would have heard William yelling at Ella. Which, look, this is not unusual. But Ella, do you say anything to the others?
Emery,
Yeah.
we need a new Airbnb.
Okay.
There was an air tag in the bottom of that bag of drugs.
Fuck.
We have been compromised.
Yep.
Yep.
So we need to change our location. Yeah.
Victor, you would normally be the individual to check all the security footage.
Yeah.
When was the last time you checked it?
I'm going to run towards the security cameras.
I want an intelligence tech roll out of you and then a wits awareness, please, Victor. I will give you a help dice for that wits awareness because I'm going to assume that somebody's going to go look over your shoulder. So, Ella, Emery, and Nicholas, while Victor races to the computer that manages the security footage, what are you going to do?
Ella's probably going to be one of the people looking over her shoulder.
Intelligence and?
Intelligence and technology to review
Okay,
the
thank
security. You do get the dots in security for this. I'm sorry, for the wits awareness, you get the dots in security. But I just want to see you. I need an intelligence tech for you to backtrack the footage. And I need you to give me the wits awareness with your security to look out for an individual. Nicholas. listening to all of this and being the individual whose email was connected with the purchases of the memberships to the museum, you regularly get emails about different events that are occurring there. Victor, what's your roles?
2 successes for the technology intelligence and 4 successes in wits and awareness plus security.
So the wits awareness, you only had to meet the difficulty of 4, so you've just made it. You spend the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you and Ella, poring over footage. There are a couple of times where on your, the front door, so where the door is to William's office, down the hallway, you guys have a camera there. About a week and a half ago, a familiar red-headed visage walks past the hallway, looks up at your camera, gives a nod, and moves on. About a week ago, and Nick, you would have known this is about when Robert was telling you about he needed to go on his trip, about a week prior. You see Robert walk out and meet with a red-headed individual, shake their hand, and walk out into the museum. Now, you know Robert sometimes does guided tours of the museum. It's part of being an employee there. Nick, 2 and 2 goes together. This is one of the afternoons where the museum sometimes does after-hours events at the planetarium deliberately for school kids, for school groups. As you speed through and you get to the most recent time, so you're looking now. William, have you walked out at all? What are you doing? Before I reveal what you see now.
William is currently has opened up the AirTag and is trying to modify the circuits so that way it looks as if the AirTag has been malfunctioning for a long time and will be projecting improper information to the people who are checking it.
Okay, so I need an intelligence tech roll out of you for that, please. And that's what you're working on while they're reviewing this footage. Because I'm guessing, does anyone tell William? He was pretty violent and grumpy about getting out of his lab.
Emery will.
So about halfway through you doing this, William, Emery's going to come to your door and tell you.
I'm still going to make the intelligence and technology, but
Yes, please.
5 successes on a crit.
You very successfully modify that AirTag. It does appear that it has been, you can assume, it's been sending faulty information and will no longer send correct information through to whoever it is that is linked into it. In the process of doing that, checking it with your Bluetooth, you realize it's called Nice to See You Again. Okay, name the AirTags. You go to connect to it on Bluetooth, it says Nice to See You Again. As its name. As Emery comes to your door and tells you what they're currently finding on the cameras. William, you're the main one that can access the museum cameras, should you wish to. What are you going to do? Not just your local security cameras, but the museum ones. What are you going to do? As Victor pulls up the recent feed, the current feed.
Fortify the safe house. I'm gonna go check the cameras for my computer.
Cool. As you
I'm
head into your office, give me your edge test.
That is also intelligence and technology, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Do I get desperation on this one?
You can very much use desperation at 2 on this.
God damn it.
6 successes on a crit.
Amazing.
I'm getting all the crits tonight. I'm telling you, it's the milk.
Milky Crits, brought to you by the Hunt of the Reckoning, it's St. By Night. It's amazing. Now, you sit down and you hit a zone. You are pissed. Somebody's gotten into your little spot. This is your space. You, using your access, going through, you start patrolling essentially through the camera systems. We're going to pause for 2 seconds. We're going to bring in our guest. So, William, as you sit down, you channel all of the knowledge that you have learnt from Grover over the last month or 2. You're panning through the museum itself, because fuck this bitch. You see on one of the cameras probably easily 50 to 100 8 to 10-year-old children coming in with little snack buckets, heading for the planetarium. They have a couple of adults with them, what appears to be chaperones or teaching staff. But towards the middle of the group, if you could describe what Frankie looks like this evening, please, as this is about 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Frankie is not dressed fancy. He's dressed like any other chaperone to any other kid's function would be dressed. He's got a hoodie on. He's got a beanie on. He's hooked his sunglasses into his beanie. He's got jeans and sneakers on. He is comfortable being surrounded by all these children. He's laughing with them. He's playing with them. He's kind of pushing some of them and letting them push him. And he's very adamant to make sure that each one of them has their little snack box that they are taking into the planetarium.
At any point, do you feel like he would look up at the cameras at all?
As he's kind of starting to usher some of the kids, because I imagine it's not the biggest planetarium, so they're going to go in groups and then come back out. Another group will go in. As he's kind of helping the other adults herd in a group of the kids, he'll look up and smile as he pats one of the kids on the back and make sure that they get in with the rest of the group, and then go back to what he's doing.
William, this is what you see. The individual that you were supposed to be hunting is in your museum, surrounded by crowds of innocents. Do you let the rest of your soul know?
William is going to call the William is going to actually, he's not going to let the rest of the cell know because he knows the other ones will panic. He's going to call Emery in.
All right. Emery would, after being called in, join, close the door.
He's here.
Okay.
Now.
Situationally where?
He's chaperoning the field trip.
You look down at the screen. Sure enough, you know that visage. You've studied the dossier that Dr. Krieger gave you. You see him very close to the kids.
Does he have an ID or tag on him?
Wits awareness.
I could find it again. Here it is. Two successes.
You can see what appears to be a lanyard around his neck. You can't see what's on it.
Okay. I think we need to have a little talk with him.
I agree. He's seen our faces. We can't approach him. Not right now.
No, they've seen some of your faces.
He hasn't seen yours.
Correct.
You're not going in alone. Not while there's kids involved.
Oh, absolutely not. I would suggest taking Ella. She can probably lie her way around getting him away from them.
No. Not Ella. Take our head of the watchman.
Good plan.
I'll give you cover for why you might be grabbing him out from around the kids. I'm gonna go to the bio lab. I'm gonna set off one of the gas alarms from the bio lab, causing the building to need to be evacuated. You can grab him in that chaos.
Deal.
Bring him here. I want to make an example out of him.
Understood.
So just clarifying, you're going to go have a talk to one of your guards who has no concept of the supernatural, really.
Mm-hmm.
Just a security guy, hangs around.
Mm-hmm.
So who are you grabbing?
Whoever our lead tenant is for the Watchman.
I cannot remember the name of the leader.
Oh, it's on one of the. It's on one of the cell sheets. I don't know if we put it in the new one though.
Either way, so you go and get him. How do you explain this situation to him?
For the security personnel, there is an unidentified individual children's group that we need to check on.
I'm gonna need a roll for this. He's gonna look
I'm
at
sorry,
you.
they are unidentified, and they are around children.
He's gonna sort of look at you and go, well, isn't that the school's job? Shouldn't we just notify the teachers?
I don't believe it's appropriate to have unidentified individuals around children and us be liable for anything that may happen.
Okay, so what am I doing?
We're just going to excuse the gentleman from the area and have a discussion.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too hard. Alright, so what do you need me for? Just need me to come along and look tough?
Pretty much, and just in case he tries to skip away or fight the situation.
Do you want me to call the cops and have them on backup?
No. It's one person. We've got more people if we need help.
I'm gonna need a manipulation, persuasion roll here.
God damn it.
'Cause
Ella,
this
come
guy-
in here.
This guy's looking at you like this is a job for the police. Like, are we holding him or what's the go here?
Give me a sec. Okay, I gotta roll a willpower for that one. Okay. What was it? Oh, good. One success.
He's gonna
God.
look at you and just be like, if you're really worried about this guy, we should be calling the cops. You know that.
No, I don't think so. I think you should probably do as I say because I pay you, and let's just go.
You don't pay me to accost innocent citizens, man.
I'm not accosting. I'm making sure that this place is safe. If he's not doing anything wrong, we will let him go.
I don't have authority to detain people.
We're not detaining him.
But you want me to grab him?
If he becomes aggressive, I didn't say he's going to.
Look, I'll walk out there with you, but I'm gonna be honest. If this gets aggressive, there's kids around. I'm gonna get the kids out and I'm gonna call the cops. You know that, right?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Okay. Look, don't get me wrong, I appreciate the job. I really do, Miss Gaines, but that's not my job. That's out of my pay grade. You do not pay me that much.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, sure. Yeah. We'll talk about this later. Let's go.
Okay. And so he's going to grab his phone and have it sort of just check it and have it nearby. As I'm assuming you and him head through the museum towards the planetarium?
Yep.
William, what are you doing?
William is setting up to set off the gas alarm. What he's basically doing is he's going to make a small chemical reaction, but he's going to be making it like right underneath the gas alarm, so that way even a small amount will be picked up. It shouldn't actually be dangerous to the area as a whole, but it should be just enough to set off the alarm. So that way the alarm goes off and they have to evacuate the building to check it. Meanwhile, as soon as the kids are out of there, he can shut it off.
I'm going to offer you something, give you a little bit of information that perhaps you haven't thought about at this point in time. With global access, you can do that through the electronic systems. You don't actually need to create the gas.
I'll set that up to the electronic systems. I'll set off the alarms.
You've already got access to the system, so that's something quite easy to do. Are you going to set it off immediately, or are you going to wait for Emery and the security guard to get over there?
Basically, wait for the security guard to get over there. I'm basically giving them cover. So, like, as soon as they get there, I'm going to set off the alarm. So that way, when Emery basically takes him back, it's not going to look as suspicious.
What's an awareness from you, please, Frankie? As Emery and the security guard start walking towards, we'll probably just sort of start to come around the corner into the wide open area that they often keep kids while they're waiting for different activities.
It's 3 successes, and as soon as they get within range, they get hit with my awe, which I have turned on.
Can you remind me of what contested role they need to make for that, please?
Sure can.
'Cause I need to find my vampire book, because it makes things difficult. And I need to know the timing of when you set off the gas alarm as well, please, William.
It is composure and intelligence versus my manipulation, presence, and whatever else I'm using.
Cool. Can I get those rolls, please?
Okay.
Security guard gets 2 successes against you.
I'm going to use willpower. What's that? 6 successes
6 successes
Okay.
on a crit.
on a crit.
Mhm.
Okay. Ooh.
It's 4 from me.
So the
Oh,
security
come
guard
on.
is definitely affected by it, but Emery appears unimpeded whatsoever. So as the security guard comes around the corner, he's, you know what you're doing, you've got him. As they start to walk towards you, William, when do you set off the alarm? By the way,
Once they
hold on.
once they get into once they get like close enough, William's gonna hit the alarm, so that way it looks like they're ushering an evacuation on the tapes, and they just take him to a different way than they're taking the kids because the kids need to go somewhere else.
Frankie,
As they,
I was going to say, you recognize Emery's face from the recon you've done over the last couple of weeks.
as I see Emery walking towards me, he'll raise his hand and he'll tap what looks like a little clicker button on the side of his face, and he'll smile at her and shake his head no.
As you do that, an alarm goes off, blaring through the museum. Emery, this looks like a trigger that he's tapping next to his face. It's a very obvious threat. As the alarm goes off and the evacuation protocols begin, all of the teachers start to bring the kids out and around. Gets very chaotic. The security guard is going to look towards Frankie, almost looking to him for what should he do. But he's an alright guy, we got this. What are you going to do, Emery? What are you going to do?
Matching his kind of quiet signaling, I'm gonna ask him. I'm gonna have him essentially gesturing to come.
He's just gonna smile real big. Sugar, I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. You might as well just come over here and talk to me.
While the alarm's blaring and the children are starting to slowly be lined up, teachers are working on making sure everyone's there, slowly getting the kids out. Staff have come out now. Here, this is just a protocol procedure. It appears there has been a gas leak in one of the back research areas. If you could please follow us out in an orderly fashion. Ella, John, and Victor hear all this chaos happening out the back.
Taking a rifle.
You just hear the gas alarms go off, and as you go through,
Yeah.
William's sitting at his desk. Do you tell them to stop, or what are you telling them?
Hold.
Should you look down at the computer screen, you see this playing out. Any of you that go through. Frankie, in response to Emery calling you.
As the kids are going by, as she's looking at me, I'm gonna very vocally, you kids make sure you keep those snacks real close by. You wouldn't want to lose them, would you? And as I'm saying that, I'll turn and look at her and just rub my finger on the button of the trigger.
All right, you want to talk here? Let's talk here then. I will step forward closer. Not if he tries to say like don't go further, I will stop wherever, but I will continue further closer to him until then.
Why don't you let your friends know that I don't think there's anything they need to worry about. Let these kids enjoy their day. There's no need to get them all riled up and send them home to their parents.
I think they've seen enough. I think they could probably have a day off.
They haven't even seen the manatees yet. Come on. Don't be a monster.
Well, in that case, why are you here?
This lovely museum. Why wouldn't I come here?
Hmm? Hmm?
I mean, when you get company that comes over, it's only polite to come back over to company's house, right?
I'll give you that. I can understand and appreciate someone's willingness to partake.
You can learn so much at a museum, can't you? Like, for instance, if you just take a little bit of gasoline and a jar full of nails and a little small propane tank and you pack it into a little box with a little small piece of equipment in there, you can hide that just about any small place you want. It's fascinating what you can learn.
You know you're wanted in many places, right? I could call the cops right now and let them know where you are.
People out there that want a piece of me. Lord, there's just not enough to go around.
So you wouldn't care if and I'm going to say it loud enough to where I think hopefully someone who could hear me, who's listening on comms, could hear, call the police and let them know that you're here.
You can call the police if you want to. They're definitely going to need to bring more than just cars. There might be a ambulance or two that needs to come too.
It's at this point
Can
in
I-
time that a majority of the kids have started to actually walk out. The room is emptying. I am going to cross back to the cell safe house briefly. Ella, Nicholas, Victor, and William. You can't hear a lot of this. You hear a bit through the comms, with the noise of the alarms, the kids, teachers yelling, getting kids in lines, getting them out. They're not panicking per se at this point because the staff have let them know what it is. So this is more of a protocol to get everyone out, check the area before they'll be allowed maybe back in. So they're aware that it's not panic stations. But the alarms are still loud. So you just managed to pick up on what Emery says. The security guard's sitting there with a big grin on his face, like, yeah, we're good. Nothing wrong here. Not a threat.
I'm going to turn at Ella, say, call the cops, and I'm going out really slowly, tactical, and I'm going to cover every. I'm going, man. So.
Nope, Ella's gonna stop him. Ella's gonna stop him.
Okay.
If you go out there, those kids are dead.
I'm going out there. I'm not letting
Victor?
Emery alone with that.
Victor?
He sees anyone else out there, those kids are going to die.
Sorry. I'm going.
Nicholas?
Do not.
Yeah, I'm going. I'm not
No.
stopping.
Victor, for the love of God, think of if it was your sister.
That's why I'm going to step out. Not what can he say? What can he see from his point of view? Will I be all out in the open if I get out?
If you walk out of the door and then you head towards where they are, there is no real cover for you. So there is
Can I have a line of sight?
Not really, not without potentially blowing cover. And there's not. And it's been very visible that there is a risk in this situation if you are seen. So, by all means, your actions are still your own. But understand, most of your team is telling you not to. And to not go out there because this could be dangerous. Not just for you guys, but for the couple of 50 to 100 kids that are slowly filing in a line or two out of the museum.
Did I notice he has a trigger in his hand?
He's not making it subtle. It's subtle enough that people around are just like, hey, he's just playing with something he's got in his hands. But you know, you've got military training, you've served. You know. Now, William, you were going to say something.
William is making a post on Reddit. Active terrorist incident in William is making a post on Reddit, active terrorist incident, and then he pings emergency services using his global access for the gas leak, but he also pings the police using his global access, and then he, through his blog that he's made, is going to attempt to spread the word about the current active terrorist incident at the museum.
Okay, considering you've already made one, I'm going to get you to make one more edge test for me, please. You do have to meet a difficulty of 4 to do minimum to do all of these things.
Do I get desperation?
I will allow you desperation, but I need to know if you get a critical on those dice. I need to know if you hit despair or overreach.
I'm going to re-roll.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Yes, Victor?
Do we have the earpiece as well?
I'm allowing you that at this point in time, yes.
4 successes, and I did get a 1.
Just in case, I'm going to empower.
Make your test for that, please.
Yep.
Okay. You are able to do all those things. While this is happening, Frankie and Emery. Frankie, it's getting real empty in here.
He's not going to stand still. As the last groups of the kids start to move out, he's going to move with them. Still keeping his eyes on Emery and shaking his head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought this was going to be a pleasant conversation, but seems that you and your friends are just angry as a hen in rain, ain't you? It was nice, though.
I would like to grab him.
Okay. As you go to step forward, and you reach for him because he's kept distance between you. So I would like a strength and roll from you, please.
Fuck, that's not the one I wanted.
Just a sec. If you, we have some call sign like that, right, Maury?
Huh?
Yeah, we have some call signs like we are engaging. You have, do we have that between us?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm going to step out when she tries to grab him, and I'm going
There
to.
is no call sign specified, and you were not looking at the screen because you were making a decision of what to do. So the others, you see Emery reach for Frankie. Frankie, what's your reaction going to be to this?
I'm going to let her grab me. I'm going to let her touch my bare hand.
Do I still need to roll?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure.
It's not the hand with the device in it, though. He has that turned away from her.
That's fair. I wasn't looking for that anyways. Alright, 1 success.
That's all that's needed.
When she touches my hands, I will activate Envelop. So a gaseous substance will leak out of my skin and crawl up her arm and into the mouth.
Oh, yummy.
Okay, I need you to make a wits and alchemy, please. Emery, I need you to make a stamina plus survival roll, please.
Okay. Can I use desperation on this?
100%. 100% in this situation, yes.
And I wear it too, you said?
Yes.
I believe in you.
That makes one of us.
I need to know if you get a critical at all, please, Frankie.
I'm using another willpower.
So as the rest of you are sitting there watching this happen on the screen, you see Emery reach forward to grab Frankie, and he doesn't resist. He almost leans into the embrace.
5 successes, no crit.
4 successes.
What is it that you are choosing to do with this in this moment, Frankie? Are you choosing to obscure, or are you choosing to suffocate?
Suffocate.
That's fair.
Emery, as the mist swells up your arm and enters your mouth, your breath starts to leave you as your vision goes almost black. Everyone watching on the screen sees Emery let go of Levi and drop to her knees, grabbing at her chest, leaning forward, almost gasping for air. The security guard sort of looks down at Emery and goes, ooh, looks back at Levi. Sorry, back at Frankie. Almost looking. What do I do now?
Well, she's having a fit. You need to get her help.
Oh,
I'll get these kids out.
Okay, cool. Yeah, awesome. Sweet. And the security guard turns to Emery and starts performing basic first aid. Checking, trying to get her to breathe, trying to get her to respond, see if there's any obstruction. He shoves his fingers in your mouth, looking for an obstructed airway. He puts you in the recovery position. Now, Frankie, are you going to stay there, or are you leaving with the kids?
I have to keep a good eye on these kids. I'm absolutely going to slip out with the kids.
As Frankie looks, would you look up at the camera again? Because you know where they are.
He would look up and just with a disappointed face, shake his head and keep going out.
Are you going to end the effect, or are you going to leave it going?
As soon as he gets out the front doors and down the steps and into the crowd of kids, it's going to be about a minute or so, but it'll end the effect.
So for the next minute to minute and a half, Emery, you cannot draw a breath. You panic. You have never been out of control like this of your own body. You've had training on how to deal with this sort of stuff in your time. But this is new. This is where did this come from? You feel your guard's hands and you can hear him. But it's nothing, you can't get the air out of your lungs to talk. Now the other 4 of you, William, you watch as Frankie, through all of this, leaves out the front door and disappears. What do the rest of you do? The sirens are still going. The children have been evacuated. At this point, almost completely evacuated. And it appears you have not got your mark. But
Nicholas, go put the drugs in the panic. Sorry.
You see your cellmate struggling on the ground from what appeared to be a simple touch.
Yeah, Nick is gonna go do what William said, hide the drugs.
Nicholas, go put the drugs in the panic room. Hide the drugs in the panic room.
Ella's running to Emery.
Those kids are at risk. Ella, you go. You go to Emery. Victor, I have another idea.
If she dies, that's on you.
If she dies, then he will never know a day of peace again.
Not her anymore, too.
If Emery dies, Victor will burn for an eternity. Do you understand me? Go!
I'm going.
Get your sniper out. Keep an eye on him.
I'm going to take point on the roof if I can.
Yep.
Go take point on the roof.
You know exactly where to go. You've done this before. You've kept an eye on someone. You reminiscent back when Dr. Krieger first turned up and you guys were concerned about a security guard in the car. So you know exactly where to go to get a perfect view. You take off. Up the stairs. Up to one of the windows up the top. Give me a wits and awareness, please. Frankie,
course.
can you let me know in the private chat what it is you feel he would be doing as he left? And whether it's something that they're going to be able to see.
Real quick,
Yes.
when Nick comes back after putting the drugs in the panic room, he's handing William the bag of rice with it snipped, so he can pour it out if he ends up in front of him to see if it works. If not, it's still a good distraction.
So William, kind of confusingly, Nicholas hands you a bag of rice. While all of this is going on. Might be a discussion later.
He's just gonna say, drop it in front of him.
As all of this is happening, Ella, you start running towards your sister. This is panic. M doesn't drop easily.
Mm-hmm.
As you get there, the guard is like, I don't know what's going on. And after about 20 seconds, it's like, Emery, you feel, it's like there was a hand almost gripping, it's like it releases. And you sort of, you come back in and you start breathing and you're coughing and it feels choking, it still hurts. You did take 1 superficial damage during that period. But your vision comes back. The guard is there and your sister is there. The guard's
I was
looking
just
at you
gonna
like,
kinda.
oh my goodness, oh thank fuck, you're breathing. Okay, the kids are safe. I made sure that, I got the guy. He said to take care of you.
Ella's just gonna look at him and be like, "You're fucking fired."
Yeah.
Well, what did I came out here. She's alive. What did I do? He's confused.
Just get out.
What?
And she just takes Emery back to the cell.
Okay. So, this poor security guard standing there as this alarm's going off. You've walked off with your sister. He's like, fuck it. And he just starts walking towards the front. He's like, I'm going to make sure the kids are okay, so that's where he's heading. Victor, as you get up on the roof, I need a wits and awareness out of you, please.
5 successes.
You knew what was coming. I'm going to need a dex and stealth from you, please, Frankie.
Six.
As you get up, you see just at the edge of your vision, Victor, you see Frankie weaving amongst the kids, seemingly checking on them and making sure they're okay.
I'm going to make sure everyone knows with the earpiece. Can I, if I need, can I take the shot? Or
No.
it's no, like
There are
too crowded.
children.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to assume with my vision goal if it's too crowded without touching someone else, basically.
As you're having this conversation, you look away briefly and you look back and he's gone.
Fuck. He's gone.
It was almost
Son
like
of
in a
a
blink
bitch.
of an eye, he just snuck out of you. It's at about this time that the police cars start to turn up. Seemingly to check on the situation. Because of the reports that were dropped. They don't seem majorly concerned. And as they turn up though, seeing all the children out the front, seeing the chaos and hubbub that's occurring, the concern does raise a little bit, and they are questioning why on earth this is a potential terrorist threat. It's supposed to be a gas leak, yes?
Do the kids still have the snack packages? Can I take one?
You have been taken back to the cell
Damn.
with Ella.
Never mind.
It's fine. They take everything off the kids. They go through everything and watching from the cameras. Victor, you know it's about time for you to bail. Probably not a good place to be with a sniper rifle with the police being called in. Ella.
I was gonna say, on our way back towards the cell safe house, can we snack a
Yes.
snack pack off the
Those are-
kids?
There was a couple of boxes of them sitting there that hadn't been handed out yet. You could very easily grab them. All the kids are gone by now. So you
Cool,
grab one,
that's what I want to do.
you take it back with you.
Gonna open it up when we get back.
You get back into the safe house, guys. You see Ella walk in with like this little, almost like a little cardboard pail, like with a handle. You know the ones you see that sometimes people put muffins in, like a Happy Meal box, but a bit bigger. And sort of that's what Ella walks in with this. Puts it down on the table in the cell, in the safe house. Opens it up, pulls out a juice box, a bag of chips, crisps, just plain original ones. Some raspberry Twizzlers, a sandwich, and a little block of chocolate. Kid snacks, seemingly for a night at the planetarium.
Nothing else nefarious in there?
Give me a wits investigation.
Okay.
Victor, I'm going to allow you to get back to the safe house and store your weapon should you choose to.
Can I use my desperation?
Sure. As you desperately look for something that could be threatening within this.
Yes. That's a 5.
With 5 successes, you don't find anything remarkably or remotely threatening. You find a children's snack pack. As you guys sit in there, Emery, you're recovering. Nicholas, you've seen some crazy shit. But this guy ain't fucking around. William, you see the chaos slowly spiraling from the post that you made and the pings that you made to the police. You see the ramifications of your actions slowly roll out. It might be a bit harder to do things around here for a while, guys. I'm gonna leave you guys for a second and just cross over to a nearby alleyway where a familiar redhead pulls off a hoodie and sunglasses, adjusts her ponytail, and looks back at the museum. A curious smile running across who appears to be Sarah's face. The girl from the warehouse. With a nod. That's where we're going to end tonight's session. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, there is a lot of darkness in this world. That's why we play here. Eyes on the ground, people. We'll see you next time.